When Hārūn al-Rashīd died in 809, the empire he left behind was vast, rich, and admired, yet beneath its surface, a silent fault line had already begun to open. It ran through his own blood. Through the hearts of brothers min Abdallah Shaol, Mamwan Wences. Zubaydah, noble, proud, descended from the purest Quraysh line. The other, born of a Persian mother, carried the spirit of Khorasan, the land that had raised the black banners of Abbasid power. Hārūn, seeking fairness, had divided the future between them. To al-Amīn he gave the capital, Baghdad, heart of the empire. To al-Maʻmūn he gave Curry's pillar. It was a balance of honor, but it was also a balance that could not hold. In the final days of his life, Hārūn al-Rashīd tried to secure peace between his sons. He gathered the nobles, the jurists, and the generals, and swore them to an oath, "You will honor this division after my death, and obey the command of unity, but the hearts of men are not bound by oaths when power is at stake." When the great caliph died in the shadow of his loss fell across the empire. His body was buried in the land of Khorasan, and his sons began to look upon another, Nas brother, but as rival. Al-Amīn ruled from Baghdad, young, confident, and surrounded by courtiers and nobles who flattered him as the rightful heir of the Arabs. He inherited the palaces, the scholars, and the splendor of his father's court. But beyond the Zagros mountains, in the lands of Persia, al-Maʻmūn governed, disciplined, thoughtful, and advised the brilliant general Kir ibn al-Husayn. Al-Amīn was loved court. Al-Maʻmūn was respected by me. Each believed the caliphate was his to command. For a time, letters were exchanged, polite, cautious, and heavy with hidden meaning. But soon the words hardened into threats. Al-Amīn, urged by his Arab counselors, attempted to remove his brother from the succession, sending orders to strike al-Maʻmūn's name from the Kuba of the mosques. It was an act that broke the peace. When News al-Maʻmūn Mark said, "If my brother seeks to deny me what is mine, then I must defend it, not for myself, but for the trust our father gave us both." What followed was one of the darkest chapters in Abbasid history, a civil war between brothers that would consume the empire for years. The armies of the east marched toward Iraq. Al-Amīn's banners flew over Baghdad, while al-Maʻmūn's forces, hardened from the frontiers, advanced with relentless precision. Battles flared across Persia and Mesopotamia. Towns burned, rivers ran red, and the wealth of a century was lost in months. At first, al-Amīn's forces held the line, but Kir, the general of al-Maʻmūn, was unmatched strategy. One by one, al-Amīn's armies fell back until Baghdad itself was surrounded. The siege of Baghdad began in the year 812. For more than a year, the greatest city of Islam, once called the City of Peace, became a battlefield. Catapults hurled stones into its markets. Fires devoured its gardens. Hunger and plague stalked its streets. The scholars hid their books. The poets fell silent. The light of the golden age flickered as brothers turned their swords upon one another. Inside the palace, al-Amīn's courage remained, even as his power crumbled. When the walls fell and Hīr's men stormed the city, al-Amīn refused to flee. He was captured near the Tigris, weary, proud, and still calling upon his title, "I am the commander of the faithful." But mercy had no place left in the ruin of war. In the year Ba'isan, al-Amīn was executed. His head was sawn on the final, terrible proof. Al-Maʻmūn emerged as the sole caliph, Yet his triumph was shed a grief. He ordered that his brother be buried with honor, and for days withdrew from his court in silence. The empire he now ruled was united in name, but wounded in spirit. Baghdad lay scarred, its people weary, its treasury empty. The civil war had changed the Abbasids forever. The unity of the early caliphs was gone, replaced by suspicion, military power, and political intrigue. And yet, from this tragedy would come another transformation. In the years, al-Amīn would restore, rebuild Baghdad's greatness, and ignite a new wave of learning and thought. But his rule would also bring the greatest trial of faith the scholars had ever faced, the Minna, the Inquisition of belief. That, however, is a story for another night. Tonight, we remember the day when the city of peace fell silent, and the empire of the Abbasids learned that even the mightiest dynasty can be undone, not by its enemies, but by its own blood.